number 16, it tells you that you're going to use the slope that they give you and your slope formula to find the missing value r that actually gives you the slope. So let's actually start by writing down the slope formula. So that's the formula. What we need to do now is label our coordinates. So we have an x and a y, we have an x and a y. This is our first point, this is our second point. From here, ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is plug in your values. For example, m is 1/2. Let's take that 1/2 and let's put it right here where the m's at. Okay? Let's also take the y value, y2, and put it right here. Let's take the y1 and put it right here. And then let's take the x2, which is 6, and put it right here. And take the x1 of -2 and put it right there. So we're just going to substitute all the values. Check it out. M is really 1/2 equals, we have the fraction bar with the subtractions. Now let's plug in our y2 value of 7. Let's plug in our y1 value of r. 6 for the x2 and -2 for the x1. Yeah? And now the minus minuses changes the plus plus. So let's rewrite this equation. You have 1/2, you have equals 7 minus r over 6 plus 2, which is 8. Are you with me? Now check this out, guys. At this point, we have a proportion, a fraction equaling another fraction. We can cross multiply, sas. You can. Now you could get rid of one fraction at a time if you want, but if you have a fraction equal to another fraction, you could cross multiply, as long as you remember that if you have a binomial, put parentheses around it. So let me cross multiply. I'm going to say 2 times the binomial 7 minus r is going to equal 1 times 8. That's cross multiplying. We're going to set up the equation again. 2 times the binomial 7 minus r is going to equal 1 times 8. 1 times 8. So as you could see, cross multiplying is pretty easy. Now, you don't even need a fraction right here. Like right here, yeah, we had 1/2. That's great. You could cross multiply. Even if you didn't have a fraction, let's say you had 5. Let's say the slope was 5. You could make it look like a fraction by putting it over 1, and you could still cross multiply. So yes, you can always cross multiply on these types of questions. So anyways, I've cross multiplied. Now let me just simplify and solve my equation. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times -r is -2r. And then 1 times 8 equals 8. And now let's just solve it by getting r by itself on the left side of the equal sign. I'm going to subtract 14. I'm going to subtract 14. I'm going to have a new equation that says -2r equals -6. So our final answer for r divided by -2 will be r equals +3. So that is the answer for number 16. 21. So you need to know this. You need to have the formula down. You need to be able to identify the values as we just did right here. And when you use the formula, it's just a question of plugging everything in. The slope is actually -5. So let's plug in this -5 into the slope position. So that's -5 equals the fraction with some division. And Rosalba, what's y2? R, y1, x2, x1. Change it to plus. So -8 plus 7 is really -1. You could rewrite this whole equation, -5 equals r minus 2 over -1. So it's now just a question of getting r by itself. If you don't want this divided by -1, how do you get rid of it? Multiply it by -1. Technically, if you wanted to, you could put it over 1 and you could cross multiply, say -5 times -1 equals 1 times the parenthesis r minus 2, if you wanted to cross multiply. But you don't have to do that. if you just have one fraction, then you could get rid of that one fraction by simply multiplying by the denominator of that fraction, which will cancel it out. What you do to one side, do to the other side. You will have 5 equals r minus 2. Let me write it up here. 5 equals r minus 2. So of course, add 2 to both sides to get rid of the 2 on the right side, and you'll have 7 equals r equals 7. And that's it. That's your answer. How many problems of these where I give you the slope, I give you 2 points on a missing value? There's only going to be 3 problems out of the 20 that have a missing value, r. Only 3 from the homework. There's going to be an Edmodo quiz tomorrow. That'll be kind of like a pre-quiz. And all the questions are coming straight from the homework. So on number 17, you write down the slope formula. You write down your x and y points, label them, 1, 1, 2, 2. And then you plug in your values. We already know that the slope is 1/4, so let's put 1/4 right here. Equals y2, which is 5. Let's keep the division and the subtractions as we plug in our y2 and y1 value. y1 is 3, x2 is r, x1 is -4. So the minus minus changes to plus plus. And also, you could do 5 take away 3 to make it look nicer. So your new equation is going to be 1/4 equals 2 over r plus 4. Does everybody know how to get there? Yes. Okay, so after that, you can cross multiply. Only because you have one fraction equal to another fraction. So you could actually cross multiply and say 1 times the binomial r plus 4 is going to equal 4 times 2. So let's actually set that up. 1 times the binomial r plus 4 is going to equal 4 times 2. So that's really the simple, after distributing 1, it's still r plus 4 equaling 8. And then subtract 4, which means r equals 4.